I was thinking about LeBron's season this year, and so I looked something up. And I'm going to give you 3 names. Julius Randle, R.J. Barrett, Jeremy Grant. Why am I giving you guys those 3 names? It's not because Jeremy Grant's on the Pistons and they played LeBron yesterday. It's not because Julius Randle once upon a time was on the Lakers. It's because those 3 people are the only people in the league this year who have played more minutes than LeBron's 663. Year 18, age 36, third most minutes in NBA history, and 4th most minutes in the NBA this season. And that's not an excuse for him playing poorly down the stretch. Yesterday, his shot was just awesome early and then terrible late. But it did just remind me that his entire career, what has been asked of LeBron is, let's make sure everyone else can be fresh, can be as healthy as possible, can be in best position as possible, and just know we can rely on LeBron. He'll always be there. Obviously, go through it. His every stop, every year. First 7 years in Cleveland, minutes wear and tear is not an issue. He's a young man, 18 to 25 years old in those first 7 years. But they, of course, best teammate ever had was Mo Williams. They're like, hey, LeBron, carry us. LeBron, take us as far as we can go. LeBron, our expectations are in your final game with the Cavs, you'll go 29, 18, and 11, and we'll say you didn't play well enough, and that's why we lost to the Celtics. And that, of course, gets them 0 titles. He then goes to Miami, and his first 3 years in Miami has legitimate, consistent guys he can rely on. And then what happens? And they win a couple titles. And then what happens year 4 in Miami? You know, D. Wade's knees, we got to load manage him a bit. We're going to have him on a pitch count throughout the year. LeBron, you can handle it, right? We got you. You can take care of it. So then he leaves. Then he goes to Cleveland. First year in Cleveland has a ton of help, but that help gets hurt. Then years 2 and 3, Kyrie and Kevin Love and LeBron form this amazing triumvirate. They win 1 title. The next year, they're even better, but Durant's with the Warriors, and the Warriors win that title. But those were 2 great teams, because for the first time since year 2 or 3 in Miami, he had consistent, reliable guys where he could take a night off, either figuratively or literally take a night off. Then what happened year 4 in Cleveland second time around? Kyrie's gone. The wear and tear, mental and physical strain of 4 straight trips to the finals gets to his teammates and his coach. LeBron, meanwhile, is on 8 straight trips to the finals, plays all 82. 7-game series in round 1, 7-game series in round 3. LeBron, you can't really lean on any of us. We need you to take care of it. Then he goes to the Lakers. First year with the Lakers. As of Christmas Day, they're in 4th place in the West. He suffers the 1 injury of his entire career. All right, guys, just play 500 ball. Hold down the fort. Let me rehab my first injury ever. They go 6 and 11. They go from 4th in the West to 9th in the West. So he rushes himself back from the injury. He's not right, and the team ends up missing the playoffs. And then last year, again, for the just second, third time in his career, reliable, consistent, I can lean on somebody. And what happens? He and AD win the title. And a lot of us thought this year it's going to be even more of that. LeBron taking a further back seat, AD stepping further forward. Instead, AD is rested for 3 games already this year, including last night. Maintenance, making sure LeBron, you'll be fine. 4th most minutes of anyone in basketball. And I don't begrudge Anthony Davis. And listen, Anthony Davis is not playing his best ball. He'll bounce back from that. But it is just remarkable to me the amount of expectation we almost have that the guy in year 18 with the 3rd most minutes in the history of the league, he's not the one who we need to put on a pitch count. No, he can be top 5 in the NBA in minutes. Anthony Davis, on the other hand, prime of his career, coming off the best season of his career, let's make sure anything nagging, any minor thing, we make sure AD's right. I'm not saying that's the wrong move with AD. I am saying it is interesting to me how once again the expectation is make sure everyone else is good and LeBron just keep checking him. Just keep punching that time card, my man. And you saw it last night. I feel like, I'm not saying LeBron needs a game off, but fourth most minutes in year 18, maybe give him a weekend off coming up. All right, the other big story is Deshaun Watson definitely wants a trade. And where will he go? And a Browns blog wrote about, hey, should the Browns consider a Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield trade? And my guy Baker, I know this is somewhat heresy on this, in this time slot on this show. My guy Baker said some of y'all Browns are funny. I think he meant Browns fans, but that's fine. He was angry. He's typing quickly. And I support Baker. And I like Baker. But if the Houston Texans called up the Cleveland Browns and said, we would like to trade Deshaun Watson for Baker Mayfield and other stuff, you know what the Browns say? How fast can we get this done? So, Joy, I have a question for you because you brought up Justin Herbert on Twitter today. And people were like, Justin Herbert? Well, how could you even consider trading Justin Herbert for Deshaun Watson? My question for you is this. There's 32 teams in the league. One of them is the Texans. They already have Deshaun. Another one is the Chiefs. They have the most talented quarterback ever. There's 30 other teams. Is there another team in the league that if the Texans called and said, we want to trade you Deshaun Watson, they don't at least have a long meeting about it, if not immediately say yes, other than the Kansas City Chiefs? So there are 30 other teams that would immediately have an all-hands-on-deck meeting. No matter who their quarterback is, we can get Deshaun Watson.
I would say that the Packers shouldn't, but since they traded up in the first round to draft Jordan Love, who can't even win the backup spot, I'm sure that they would. If I was the Packers, I would not consider trading the likely MVP for Deshaun Watson. So that's one other team, and I think you would argue that they should consider it as well. But, yeah, pretty much every other team should consider it.
Yeah, listen, I think worst at worst, Deshaun's the fourth best quarterback in football. So Mahomes, I said you wouldn't do the trade. The next two, and this is at most better than him, are Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Rodgers is so much older than Deshaun, I absolutely would do it. It's 37 versus 25, so I'm signing up for that. Russell is enough older than him that I'm having the meeting. I'm like, do we have to include any draft picks? Is this one for one? And everyone else, to me, Joy, is a no-brainer. Justin Herbert, it's a no-brainer. Kyler Murray, it's a no-brainer. Lamar Jackson, a no-brainer. And I thought that was somewhat obvious, but I would see these Charger fans in your mentions today, Joy, acting like Justin Herbert is more of a sure thing than Deshaun Watson. So I don't know, Joy, is that just fans overvaluing their own guy? Well, or are you and I overvaluing Deshaun?
Well, I think they're looking at the long-term situation with Justin Herbert. And I saw this I have to give Bill Barnwell credit for this because I saw him talking about it and I was like, this is a thing with Justin Herbert? I love Justin Herbert. I think he's the future of the Chargers. He had an incredible season. But right now, today, Deshaun Watson is miles ahead of Justin Herbert, and it's not a question. I think what they're talking about is the money, which, to be honest, anytime we start talking about money, I'm like, if anyone can even explain how the cap in the NFL works and how any of these contracts work, blessings to you. You should be on a team. You should be being paid by a team to break that down. But that's not even a concern. Deshaun Watson, to your point, is at worst the fourth best quarterback in the league right now.
At worst. And he's young. So here's the other element here. And by the way, you mentioned anyone that can explain the cap should have a job with the team. Well, thank you for that, Joy, because I can explain the cap, and one day maybe I'll have a job with the team. So listen, Deshaun's signing bonus has been paid. So his contract ends up averaging out about $30 million. So that is a bargain for a quarterback of his caliber. Now, is it the bargain you have when you have a quarterback on his rookie deal? No, of course not. So for the next couple years before Justin Herbert were to get his big extension, you would be paying more. But he is also more of a sure thing. He is more of a known quantity. And anywhere Deshaun goes, he is going to be relieved, excited, and exhilarated because it's not the mess that is Houston. And so I'm going to throw another team out there. And I know, my God, get the ketchup and mustard ready. Bills fans, be honest, because you're about to pay Josh Allen. If the Houston Texans call up and say, we would like to trade Deshaun Watson for Josh Allen, you are doing that in a heartbeat. And Ravens fans, you are too. And Browns fans, and this is why it's not an insult to Baker. Browns fans, you are too. And the money part of it is irrelevant with those three guys because those three guys are all getting extensions this offseason. So they're all about to get expensive. Those guys are all only 1 year younger draft class-wise than Deshaun Watson. So I just flatly don't. There is one team that hangs up the phone, the Chiefs. There is another team that says, let me call you back, and probably says, not interested, the Seahawks. There is another team that says, wait a minute, and then they talk to their guys and they're like, can you believe they're calling? Do they know his age? Let's make this happen immediately. We'll deal with the fallout. That's the Packers. And there is every other team in the league that says, done. If you just want to go 1 for 1, our quarterback for your quarterback, done. And almost all of them would include at least 1 first-round pick. By the way, same with the Jags and Trevor Lawrence, the Jets and Justin Fields. The whole point of a draft pick is to pray one day he might turn into someone almost as good as Deshaun Watson, who Joy and I just said is at worst the 4th best quarterback in football, and at best, the 2nd best quarterback in football. So, yeah, it's not an insult to Baker. It's a reality of who the best players in the league are.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.